deep still whispers, the lisping voice of my new to speak. Temple wrote in my little chamber of quietness, I am ever at rest. I never speak now, but with the voice of silence. Through my silence, O divine lover, converse thou eloquently with me. O divine lover. Our first love is God. And what a blessing when we discover that. So, this is all about lifting up. Lifting up the pedestal, lifting up our spirits. And in order to lift up, it takes energy. In order to have the energy, we must withdraw it. So, where we do that, how we do that, there's different techniques, there's different places, but ultimately it's all inside of us. That's what Swami is saying in this reading. And we're about, it's interesting because he was talking about pilgrimage, and some of us are about to go on pilgrimage, and he doesn't say in an extended reading, he says, all these things are good. It's good to find a place where, you have like-minded souls and harmonious vibrations in the satsang to bring you into that sweet remembrance, into that, where two or more are gathered, there I am among them. So the power of us all coming together is wonderful, but we have to bring the energy in. It's interesting to note, and I think you all have experienced this, we, sort of the more powerful times we have, because everybody sort of comes out of the woodwork, is when we invite a guest minister, and they come, and we have a lot of preparation, and we've got all these, it sort of grows, the whole thing grows. You start on Friday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday, and you can feel, it's really interesting. You feel the energy building, and you feel it coming in, and you can feel that upliftment. And then what happens? it sort of goes out in these little eddies, depending on our particular karma and personalities and egos. And if you can step back and sort of watch the comedy or the drama, it's interesting. It's interesting. It can be sort of funny, and it can be sort of intense. But what that is that's what's happening. One time, many years ago, I got an astrological reading from Drupada, who many of you know is sort of the astrologer of Ananda, and he's like I can't think of the word right now, but he's amazing. We'll just say it that way. And he said to me, I think I've changed hopefully a little bit, but he said to me, he says, Maitri, you have a lot of energy, but you're like a pail with a lot of holes in it.
Aww.
And so, that, and we all have that to a certain extent. I know I'm not completely alone. And that's what I was referring to even in the, with the fire ceremony, that inherent restlessness. So, we're born into this world, we have these egos, and you can see it in the little children, they come in, oh, I'm in this body now, and everything is about going out, until you realize that the going out is not what's going to bring us the joy, the happiness, the peace, the calmness, is not going to attend to the growing sense of anxiety, the fears, everything. That increased energy also spawns within us, and the ego responds in that way. The ego responds in restlessness. The energy goes out, and the ego responds in fear. It's all it's part of us, a part that is dear, because the ego is the soul identified with the body. But as yogis, our mission is to draw it in, to draw it in. So some of the things that I thought were very interesting in an extended reading that Swami had to say is, he says it's good to, like I said, go to church, find your tribe, go on pilgrimage, but none of that really matters if you haven't started to cultivate the inner stillness, to cultivate and find your refuge inside. That's when the magic of all these places and when we go on pilgrimage unfolds for you. If you've already created a foundation and a connection and understanding. So he says, he was quoting about what Jesus said to the woman of Samaria. He says, this is a universal teaching. Believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Outward pilgrimage, he was saying, this is Swami, without corresponding inner communion with God is of little benefit. The important thing above all is our inner relationship with God. We should worship the Father in spirit and in truth, making a portable altar of our hearts. So that's what we're doing. The heart, considering the heart as our portable altar. And he says, furthermore, to worship God in truth means to go beyond mere intellectual concepts, beyond imaginary, subconscious inspirations. It means to persist in meditation until God raises us to ecstatic communion with him. Let me read that again. To worship God in truth means to persist in meditation until God raises us to ecstatic communion with him. Powerful words. And the promise. It's the promise. It's the promise of what is we can experience if we persist. It's interesting, though, he goes on to say that what does it make? I thought I had it here, but I remember it. So what does that mean in terms of meditation? How should we meditate? Do we sit there for 8 hours a day and, call on God and that's our persistence? No, he says that you should do it, at least in the beginning, as long as you enjoy it. He says even 5 minutes. Now, he also goes on to say that you need, you have to try to, it's like expanding that little cup. Because and we expand the cup to receive the grace of God by gradually opening more in deepening our meditations. But again, it's not about grim determination. It's not about a set of rules. It's about how we can develop that relationship more deeply with joy. Because whatever we offer to the divine, that self-offering, that energy has to also have energy to it. And if we're sitting there with grim determination, I'm going to do it, what are we doing? We're shutting down. The energy's not flowing. It's back into ego, like. So that's where the art of meditation, the yoga practices come in, is that we sort of have these guidelines and we need to follow them and work with them, but we want to work with them with the self-offering of our own inner joy and in ways that we can cultivate it. With me, it's chanting, right? It's like, oh man, I can't sit, my mind is restless, and I can feel Master just saying, okay, sit down at that harmonium and do anything, chant anything. Just do it. And it brings me in. But we all have to find our ways, and then we have to be willing. And it does take a discipline to curb the restlessness. Okay? And I'm not talking about the restlessness in meditation. We know that that's hard, but that's what Swami is addressing there. He says, do it with joy, however you can. But the worst I found, the hardest restlessness, is the restlessness that keeps me from even getting my butt on the pillow, right? On the cushion. That's the restlessness that really requires discipline. So we all need to go in